Hi guys, welcome back to A Vintage Halloween. Hope everyone is having a good week so far. So I thought today we would talk about the insane paranormal stuff that was going on after my cousin's funeral, because it was like insane. Like nothing like this has ever happened to me before. I don't have any explanation. If anything similar like this has happened to you, let me know. But that's going to be our video for today. So another episode of Ghost Chronicles. If you're new to my channel, hi everyone, I'm Laura. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. I am a big Halloween enthusiast. I love Halloween. I decorate over the top for Halloween every year and year round here in my Halloween office, as you can see all my decor. I also do Halloween art, and my Etsy shop is Halloween Hill Studio, so you can find me on Etsy under that name, also under that name, Halloween Hill Studio on Instagram. And then just for more Halloween fun year round, I'm on Instagram under the Halloween Collector. So that's where that is. Okay, so this is a little bit heavy. I just want to warn you, if you have triggers related to drug overdoses and opioid addiction, that is what I will be discussing in this video. So that's what it is. Okay, getting into it. So a little bit about my cousin Connor is the one who passed away, and Connor was like the most lovely person. His nickname in life is Full Throttle because he was a daredevil. Like he loved all sports. He was like big into football, into like skiing and snowboarding and like anything you can think of, like skydiving. He did it all. He was major into sports in high school and in college. He led his sports teams to huge like competitions, and like he was like quarterback and MVP and all these things. Like he was amazing. He was just a leader, and also he was one of those people that has that ability to make you feel special just by interacting with them. And it was nothing that he said or did or anything like that. That was who he was as a person. I feel him right here. I feel him here today, guys. But it's just who he was as a person. He was just a lovely person. If we took the Enneagram, I'd say he was like an Enneagram 2. Like he would give you the shirt off his back. He was loving and supportive, and he loved his friends. He had like tons and tons of friends he grew up with. He was just the most wonderful person. He did struggle with opioid addiction. He had so many injuries just from sports, and then the injury didn't fix, like a shoulder injury that didn't heal, so they had to do another surgery, and then like on his knees and on his so he was in constant pain, and that's sort of how that started, just because of the pain that he was constantly in. I have a funny story about Connor when he was little. So I think he was maybe 4 years old, and he came to visit my family in Massachusetts. This is right before we moved to Houston. And his older sister, Catherine, was 6. He was like 4. My sister was 6. They all grew up together. And my sister, when she was little, had this like rubber ball that you had a handle, and little kids could ride it and like sort of hop around on it. It was like a little like riding ball. So Connor got to her house, found that riding ball, and was hopping around the house. And then somehow, much to our horror, he ended up at the bottom of the basement stairs. Like he just like rode the ball down the stairs. My aunt and uncle were horrified. We were all horrified. Fortunately, he was fine. Like nothing happened. But like what was so significant about that moment was like, as like an average like 4-year-old would be usually horrified they fell down the stairs, he was like elated. Like he thought it was the most fun he'd ever had in his life. He thought it was so exciting. He wanted to do it again, which with my aunt was like, absolutely not, you're not doing that again. But I'm like, this kid is like unbreakable. This kid, like that was the daredevil sort of Full Throttle type person that he was. Like he just loved athletics, loved being active. He just had an exuberance for life. That just sort of like shone everywhere. And he actually became an engineer, and he worked for a major engineering firm in San Diego area, and that's what he did. And he loved that as well. Like his colleagues also shared at his service, saying that he would always bring such a positive attitude. Like if they had a problem, Connor would always be like, oh, we can solve it. Like he was so positive. And this is someone who was working on 75% because he was always in pain, but you would never have known it just because of what a wonderful person he was. So that's a little bit about my cousin Connor. He was a lot younger than me. I'm 42. So I think I was probably 11 when he was born. So he was sort of the second group of our cousins. I grew up with my brother and my 2 cousins that were older. And then he and my sister and his sister grew up together in a group. So I wasn't as close to him as my sister was, but we all like saw each other for holidays and things like that. So he passed away of an accidental fentanyl poisoning on June 1st. And there's some suspicious issues with it, and the police are involved, and that's all I'm going to say, because it's still a lot going on there. But it was an accident. Like we all think it was an accident. We feel strongly it was an accident. I sensed his presence a couple of days afterwards, and I felt that, oh my gosh, like he was saying, oh my gosh, what a stupid choice I made. Like it was just an accident. Like, and I feel like it was. But that ending is not going to negate who he was as a person and his legacy that he left, because he blessed so many people, and his friends like were up there. His second grade teacher came to the funeral and was talking about how special he was. Like everyone, his boss was there, everyone. The legacy that a 31-year-old left, it really got us thinking about what impact am I having? What joy am I bringing to life? Because Connor lived life with full joy, even in that amount of pain from his injuries. So it's just been really inspiring to me, thinking about how can I live with more of that joy. So yeah, so that's just sort of an interesting thing. But so my mom and I went to San Diego. We flew into San Diego because that's where my aunt and uncle live, because my aunt is remarried to my uncle Eric, and then her husband Connor's dad is also remarried to Melissa, who's a lovely person as well. So they're just, everyone's lovely. They're all, of course, this is horrific for the family. Everyone's going through it. But we were there, and I'm just, supporting my aunt, seeing cousins. So that was fun. The day of the service was like obviously emotionally heavy. But it was fun to just like, be supportive. Like how can I serve my family and be supportive? How can I do it? My aunt and uncle, the grace they showed, like amazing. Like there's like, that God is working with them, because like there's a lot of like, just like my aunt Jane is convinced that God's been here the whole time helping her through grief. Like, so it's been beautiful to see that. So this started, everything started really the day after, because my mom and I booked like an extra day just to be in San Diego before we flew home. And this is crazy, y'all. So we were in the hotel room, and I was in my pajamas. It was just like a pajama top, like a t-shirt, and just pajama pants. They had pockets, but nothing was in my pockets. And I was bending over. It was like this is our last day, and we decided we were going to go to La Jolla, which was terrible. Never go to La Jolla. There's no parking. We ended up at the, what's the name of that? The Coronado. We ended up at the Coronado Hotel and just walked around and had lunch there. But so I was like, okay, I'm going to get dressed. What do I want to wear to the Coronado? What do I want to wear to the beach? Blah, blah, blah. So I just sort of picked up, I was leaning over my suitcase like that, and then boing, 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 a coin fell on the floor. And it was this dime. It's just a normal dime. I don't have change. Like I don't have money, and it was like it fell off of my person, but I've never had coins in my pajama pants pocket. A. B, I don't have coins. I don't carry coins in my purse. I don't have them in my luggage. Like there's no place for a coin to fall out of. Like there's like, unless it's like stuck in my hair, I don't have coins. So this literally appeared out of nowhere, and it just went like it fell like bloink and made that sound like it fell. And I looked at my mom and I'm like, this coin just fell on the floor. She's like, there's no place for that to come from. She doesn't have coins either. So we're like, there's just no place for that to come. And I've heard of like pennies from heaven, or like this is like a sign of your loved one who's with you, like when people find them on the street, but I've never heard of them materializing out of thin air. This materialized out of thin air. There is no logical explanation. There were no coins in the hotel room. Mom doesn't have them in her purse. I don't carry them on my person. And I've never had coins in my pocket ever in my life. So I'm like, Connor. And if anyone's going to go full throttle in the afterlife, it's Connor. So I was like, it's proof. It's proof that even though it seems impossible that our loved ones are here and alive, when we can't see them, they're here. Because there's no way this could have appeared. Like, there's no way. So that was like an amazing comfort to me. Also feeling like I'm on the right path, just because life has been challenging, like having my own business, trying to make enough money to survive. Like, it's like, what do I do? I feel like oftentimes I felt like I was just like grasping in darkness and nothing was working out. But it's like the universe is like, I have you. It's like, you don't need to worry because everything is here. Even though you can't see it with your eyes, it is here. It is here. So that blew my mind, blew my mom's mind. So I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. And I have some footage of being in the hotel room that I'm going to roll next, so you can see that, and then we'll roll into the rest. Okay, so this is the setup. This is the counter area, trash can. When I stopped, this is my luggage. I was bending over here to try and get my clothes out, and then the dime fell here. So if it was going to fall off of this counter, it would have fallen there. I don't know. I have no dimes, money in my suitcase, no money in my purses. We don't know. I mean, I was thinking like maybe the dime was somehow in my suitcase from 20 years ago, but why would there be a dime in my suitcase?
The only thing I could think is if it was in your hair.
No.
In your pants.
But these are my pajama pants. Yeah.
That doesn't
Okay, so that was the hotel room footage I took. As you can see, nothing could have fallen off that credenza. Like, it couldn't, there's no way it could have fallen out. There was nothing in my suitcase. I searched my suitcase. The piece of luggage I have is maybe 20 years old. I searched it before I packed and there was nothing in it. So there wasn't like there was an old coin in the suitcase that like came out because I was moving my clothing around and I had just lifted the top thing off. I wasn't digging, I just lifted. Anyway, so that is the dime and we're not done yet. So that day was fun. My mom and I we actually drove past that haunted house. What's it called? I'll think of it. In El Paso, the famous one where the ghost like throws people around. I'm mind blanking, but anyway, we decided not to go through that house. I just like wasn't in the mood for, because it was so emotionally heavy the previous day with the funeral. I didn't really feel like going into like a dark place. So we decided to go to the Coronado Hotel, which is also haunted and also stunningly beautiful. And that was amazing. We had like lunch on the beach with this beautiful breeze. It was like heavenly and beautiful. You know, like this is amazing because it's so hot in Texas. So we have nice weather in San Diego. So that was really, really fun just to like hang out. That evening we came back and there was like a huge, like maybe in like 20 trees filled with crows and they were all flying. And for me, crows are definitely another symbol of like spirit is present. It's like you have support and spirit is present. So that was interesting to see just that all the amount of crows and just that they were all surrounding the hotel. So I thought that was cool.
Oh no, we're gonna need this in the morning to get out. Oh wow, how do we do that?
The craziest thing that has literally ever happened to me happened the next day on the airplane. So it's another thing with coins. So I was sitting there. I was at a window seat. My mom was in the middle. We were on a Southwest flight flying back to Houston. And my mom and I were eating snacks and just talking. So I had gotten a granola bar. It was a Kind bar and it was crumbly and I didn't want to get like chocolate and stuff all over me. So I lowered the tray that's on the back of the seat. I lowered the tray down. I was eating the granola bar and my mom and I were discussing like spirit guides and angel messages and like how like I know one of my spirit guides who's my great grandfather. So we were talking about that and, you know, talking sort of how, you know, I felt like I was introduced to him and like how I feel like angels are around us, blah, blah, blah. So that was what we were discussing. And I was eating this granola bar, ate the granola bar, cleaned it all up. I put the tray up and in my lap was this penny. In my lap. Like it didn't fall in my lap. It didn't fall on anything. It was not there before. I don't have coins. I don't have change. This was in my lap, like the middle of my lap. I put the tray up and I looked down. I'm like, oh my God. I looked at my mom. She was like, oh my God. There's nowhere. My mom was like, there's nowhere this could have come from. It was in my lap. And that again was another feeling that the universe has my back. Connor's not dead. People don't die. They are here, even though it seems impossible. Even though it seems like there's no way this could have ever appeared. Even though it seems impossible, we are being provided for. We are being guided. We are being taken care of by the universe. And this is my proof. Like, and I just like in that moment, I felt so just in awe and amazed and also so supported because it's like I've been going through all this stuff with my business, like trying to make it work. I've been applying to 9 to 5 jobs and no one calls me. No one's hired me. Like, I don't know what else to do. Just trust. Even though you can't see it, it's there. Even though you can't see it. And I feel like if this was like somehow in the tray or I would have felt it fall. It wouldn't have fallen in my lap. It would have fallen on the ground. I would have felt it fall. Like I want to add also that I did a recording on the plane of like right when this happened. I did a little sort of recording like I did in the hotel room on the plane. So I'm going to roll that next so you guys can see that. Just sort of see the setup and how crazy it is. I don't know if y'all can hear me on the plane, but a penny just appeared in my lap. And I'll show you. It was right there from nowhere. There's nowhere it could have come from. So I put this down like that, and then I put it back up, and the penny was right there. Two coins that appeared out of nowhere, which is crazy. And then so one of the most wonderful aspects of this whole thing was I reconnected with someone who I haven't seen in 20 years at least. So my Aunt Jane, who's Connor's mom, her very best friend is Paisha, who this wonderful gal who she's known since maybe like elementary school. Like they're like besties. So Paisha has 2 daughters, Taylor and Megan, and they grew up with Connor and Catherine, my cousins. They're the same age and everything like that. So I reconnected with them, and they're very sensitive. And so Megan and I became like best friends like overnight, pretty much. And so she's very sensitive. And so I told her all this stuff, like, you're not going to believe the stuff with the coins. Like, you're not going to believe it. And then the next day, she was like, it happened to me. She said that she was standing in her closet, looking up at her purses, like trying to like say, which purse do I want? And then coins fell down on her head. Like it was a quarter and I think a dime. And she wasn't doing anything. Like they just appeared. She's like, I don't have coins. I don't carry money. I don't have coins. And I'm like, do you think it's Connor? And she's like, absolutely. She's like, if anyone's going to be throwing coins, figuring out the afterlife, going full throttle in the afterlife, it is Connor. And I felt him here the whole time. He's just a wonderful person. I love him. And it's been a very interesting couple of weeks. But yeah, so both of these appeared. I've not had anything else like sort of like appear like this since. I did find a penny outside, but I mean, someone could have dropped it. So, but it's just, when I see them now, it's just like proof of God's care. It's proof of life that is eternal, proof that we are being provided for. And I have never, ever experienced anything like this. Like usually I sense things. Nothing interacts with me in my space, which is very odd. Also, this is probably not paranormal, but my bedroom door no longer closes all the way. I don't know why. And so I carry Toby up at night. We get in bed, and the past like 3 nights, the door will open in the middle of the night by itself. But I mean, it doesn't close all the way, so it could just be the air coming on, making it open. But I'm just like, I always wake up and look around like, Connor, is it you? But I don't know. So yeah, so that is my story. My mom was there the entire time, witnessed this whole thing. She thinks it's paranormal. My mother's a very practical person. She's like, it's probably blah, blah, blah. She always comes up with like, you know, a rational explanation, but she was like, there's no explanation for this. And she like told like my other aunt and everyone, they're like, this is creeping me out. Like, this is crazy. And also the fact that it happened to Megan too. My friend and Connor's friend, like with them falling on her in her closet, like that's just, it's not a coincidence. So that is what happened. And I feel very much at peace about it. I feel like the new chapter's begun, because I think it was like the new moon, some type of new moon or something. It was like the day, it was the 17th, that were like, it was an ending and a beginning. And I feel like reconnecting with old friends and like having all this stuff happen is just like sort of proof that we're on a new path that's like moving forward, even though we can't see it, it is there and moving forward. So I feel like that is very much something that Connor would do. He would be like, how can I heal the whole family? How can I be here for you? And Connor would find a way. He would, if anyone's going to do it, he would. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like that totally makes sense. But yeah, so that is my crazy story. Let me know if you've had anything like magically appear out of nowhere that doesn't have a source. Like it just appeared. I mean, I've heard there's an episode of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. I think it's the 3rd season maybe, about these park rangers in the Navajo Nation, and they're like investigating all these different paranormal things. And one of the hauntings they went on was in this like business place, and all these coins would like appear out of nowhere. They would just like fall from the ceiling. And they have like rolls and rolls of all these coins that appeared. So that's the first time I've ever heard of coins like appearing, but it's never obviously happened to me. I thought that was the last thing I would have thought would be happening. But yeah, so it's on Netflix if y'all want to watch that. But that is my story. So let me know in the comments what you think. It's been interesting. It's been an interesting couple weeks. I also want to say that if you know someone who is struggling with addiction, please reach out to them. We didn't know that Connor was struggling again. Like I think he had gotten clean and like he was in a better place. He just gotten a raise. Like we didn't know, like his parents didn't know. None of us knew that he was struggling in that spot. So please it's just a reminder to reach out to people. He had love and support surrounding him. We can't change the outcome. We can't make people's choices for them, unfortunately, but we can be a support system, and hopefully help them along on their path, as best as we can. And that's all we can do. So, yeah, so that's my video, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know what you think, because it's been crazy. Yeah, if you want more year-round Halloween fun, you can find me on Instagram under The Halloween Collector and Halloween Hill Studio. And for art, I'm under Halloween Studio on Etsy as well. Thanks, guys, and keep on spooking.